Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's summit, State of the Art, Insights from a Changing America. I'm Kerry Washington, and I am thrilled to be serving as MC. Today is about coming together as artists, civic and cultural leaders, students, educators, and advocates to explore an important question. What does art in the United States look like in this moment? Back in February, the Crystal Bridges Museum of American Art and The Momentary opened the exhibit that really inspired this summit. State of the Art 2020 was framed around that same driving question. Now, I know that February feels like a lifetime ago, doesn't it? But we now know that art could not have been more prescient or relevant because through the ups and the downs and the downs and the downs of this year, artists have helped us to understand this unprecedented, revolutionary moment in history. Think back to those early days of the pandemic. Maybe you found yourself at home with some new time on your hands, missing friends and family. Or maybe you were suddenly doing your job and trying to be your child's teacher. Or maybe you were working long hours at an essential business. Many of us turned to art to help us get through this completely new reality. For some, that meant listening to a favorite album or reading a treasured book or poem or finally getting a chance to see Hamilton. Or maybe you missed art museums so much that you found solace in Googling pictures of Kehinde Wiley's extraordinary paintings. Whatever the form, art helps us find moments of joy and hope and catharsis. And we're here today because conversations with artists about the art they create helps us make sense of the unimaginable and find wonder in the everyday. The artists we're engaging with here create dynamic spaces, both real and fictional. They are building and interrogating a sense of place, of home and family and identity. They are tracing connections to landscapes and networks of power, examining the ways we construct and perceive time, helping us to look outside of our own experiences and reconsider what it means to be American, what it means to be a human being in 2020. These are times when we see the power of art help us reimagine a fairer, more equitable country. Art helps us see the faces that had previously been left out of the frame and move them to the foreground. Think about the outpouring that we've seen in response to the passing of Chadwick Boseman. It's about the loss of a very talented actor and an extraordinary person way too soon, yes, and it is also about the ways his films tackled questions of power and family and race and social change. Think about this month's cover of Vanity Fair. It featured Amy Sherald's beautiful portrait of Breonna Taylor, who was killed by police this past March. She's wearing a dress the color of medical scrubs, the uniform of many essential workers like Breonna. We are here to ask not only what does art look like in this moment, but how does art shape this moment? How do the arts spur our work to create greater civic engagement and empower people, especially young people, to advance justice and strengthen democracy Each of the 61 artists featured in State of the Art 2020 is answering these questions in their own ways. One of my favorite pieces is by Carla Edwards. It's called Bonfire, and it's a large quilt of squares and rectangles that together look like a piece of stained glass on fire. It's made from American flags, which Carla stitched together while grappling with the fear and anger and anxiety so many of us have felt this year. Great art forces us to ask new questions and grapple with hard truths. These artists have started the conversation, and today we are continuing it. I, for one, cannot wait. So we are grateful for the significant support of our sponsors who, understanding the relevance of today's summit, have underwritten the cost of this virtual experience. Thank you. I especially want to thank Alice Walton for being such a tireless champion of the arts, and Bank of America, the summit's lead sponsor. And with that, I'd like to welcome the president of Bank of America Private Bank, Katie Knox.